Hey, what's going down, people? What's going down? I've had one of those days today that y'all would probably consider a shitty day, but I'm fortunate to still be drawing breath. Hold on. Just getting back to the house. I'm talking with Lou. He wanted me to put out some stuff that our inner circle was talking about earlier. But my day first. Smooth day on patrol. Fucking work. My guys did fucking great. Handled the scandal. Nobody got hurt, but very minimal. None of that heartbreaking shit you got to worry about. So on my way home, and my work car is my Kia. I just got this bitch back like a month ago. I took like the entire surround from a semi-truck tire that blew out, blah, flying through the air, damn near came through my windshield. Dodged a bullet with that one. Got that fixed. Just got the car back like 10 days ago. Cruising down the highway, doing a considerable amount of speed, just saying. And I see this white Ford F-250. Why is it always got to be a Ford driver? Don't send me no emails on that stupid shit. This fucking dude, I'm watching him. And I see something moving around on the bed of his truck. And I'm like, okay, cool. Well, the area that I'm going through, high wind. Always high wind. It's fucked up. And then a full-size, industrial-sized strength, huge fucking shop vac blows out the bed of this dude's truck. Like, in the motherfucking air. Comes like 6-7 feet out of the truck, flipping around. I'm like 7-8 car lengths back. I got cars to my right, because I'm in the number 1 lane. It's a 2-lane road. And I've got a guardrail and a ditch. Dirt, soft shit on the left. I got nowhere to go. Shit fucking, blah! Yard sales my fucking car. Just got this motherfucker back. Entire front end on the driver's side blows out. Shop vac blows up. Cars behind me are dodging debris. Oh, I fucking cleared over to the shoulder, got off into the dirt, and I got out of the car, and I was just like, get fucked. That's where I'm at. This is the story of my life. I hate this fucking car. I fucking hate it. I'm sitting in it right now. It still runs. But I had to pull out my Benchmade and cut a bunch of the front bumper off, the inner fender, the fog light, the LEDs, everything. From the headlight fucking down, from the center of the fucking emblem over to the wheel. I had shit stuffed into like the rim and everything, but neither here nor there. Made it back to the house. So we saw the fuckery today with some information that came out about the funds and options, whether it be calls or puts. So I started looking at some of the intel that I got sent. And I call it intel because I saw it probably an hour before that shit hit publicly. Before it was blowing up on Twitter and everywhere else, before everyone else was getting into it. I have a unique way of looking at things, and this is why Lou and Bill and some of our other people are like, hey, have Matt take a look at this, because I can look at something that involves deep and nefarious fucks and go, if I was a shithead and I wanted to get away with this, this is how I would do it. That's what's made me a good cop for 25 years. I know exactly how to get away with some shit, and I make the conscious effort not to, which means I don't get caught. So neither here nor there, looking at the options. If they exercise all their options, they got so many shares available. It's a lot of fucking shares. What, 1.4 something billion fucking shares? And immediately I saw and you can't look at anything in this play like anybody involved in it is going to do what they should do. You can't count on any of the rules or the laws being followed, because none of them have been. You already saw Gary Gensler get told to shut up in color with his new regulations, and they got shelved. And there's some deep, dark, nefarious fucks behind this play that stand to lose a whole bunch of money if certain banks go down or certain organizations go down, because dark and nefarious shit is financed as well it should be, for the good and the welfare of the American people. I get it. With that being said, looking at these shares, should they do this, it's like a big giant fucking insurance scheme. Insurance fraud, so to say, but there's no insurance company. So they exercise all these fucking calls and puts, all these options, and instead of taking the cash, they take the shares. These are synthetic shares that are created immediately. And the first point that got brought up, Bill was like, no, but they have to show where they got those shares from. They're supposed to show where they got those shares from. But up to this point in this play, has any of the funds shown where they got any other synthetic shares from? I'll wait. Okay, so now that we've established that, they exercise these options. They have this 1.4 billion shares to work with. Now, one avenue is they could drop them all at once and fuck us. We covered. That's a no-go. Why? Because retail dips. We got fucked, we dip, we take our money with us. The market's done forever and a day plus one. Not going to happen. Plus, they still have a bunch of dirty shit on the books. How do you take care of stuff that's on the books that you don't want nobody to see? So, referring it to like the insurance fraud thing, you got a house that's worth, $1.2 million. I shouldn't say that. You owe $1.2 million on this house that you're in, and it's only worth $400,000 because, the economy crashed and this, that, and the other. And then you get this brilliant, fucking nefarious, dark idea to burn your house down so that you can claim insurance money. You're going to get caught. Don't do that shit. Trust me. We get them every time. But then the insurance company comes in and they pay off what you owe. Miraculously, your $300,000 house, they paid off your note. Cool. So when we look at this in relation to that, we have all these shares they exercise with an option and recovered. They let this bitch rip. This bitch hits $300, $400, $500 and they sell a portion, small portion. Think incremental. Incrementally sell, and it halts the rip up. We already know we're going to have halts, we're going to have dips, so on and so forth. So now we have a halt because of their sale of those shares. They're collecting money for shares that don't exist. Now, when this starts to dip, there's people in this play that have never ever been in the market before, never seen anything outside of maybe 90 days worth of a time for dollars paycheck. You know what I'm saying? Most they ever had, maybe 25, 30 grand in the bank. Maybe. Never even really seen large quantities of cash. So when they look at this first dip, when it starts to fall, and they see $200,000, $300,000 in their bank account, they're going to get nervous. Folks, this is where you need to hold your mud. This is where you need to hold your mud, because when that starts to dip and people that can't hold their mud start to sell, the funds that just sold those shares, those synthetic shares from the options chain, are going to buy up all the shares that become available so that they can cover. It's going to run. Then they're going to sell off another share block incrementally. It's going to halt and it's going to start to fall. More people are going to sell. The higher this goes, they are making money on the way up, and at the plateau and curve, they're buying your shares. I'm not saying y'all are going to sell, but people are going to sell. They're going to sell. It's just the nature of the beast. Just think it. Deek, 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 deek. And they are not accountable for these synthetic shares they created with their options chain. They didn't loan them out. They didn't sell them to you. The people that are going to get fucked with those shares are going to be the other little D's and stuff that are going to be snatching those shares up that these bigger funds are going to be selling because their options changed, because they're trying to cover. It ain't going to work because now they're buying synthetic shares. They're not going to know it until they fucking smooth out the water that's rippling, and they can figure out, okay, is this a real share or is this synthetic? They're going to get fucked. Meanwhile, retail is slowly selling their synthetics and real shares mixed in. But what are they doing? they're buying back those synthetic shares that are on your books that they are accountable for. Those are the ones that leave the paper trail and the evidence. With what is coming in the market in the future, I can tell you right now, ain't nobody looking at this after all this goes down. Nobody's going to be like, well, let's see if anybody was dirty in this play. Let's go dig through everybody's shit and see what we can dig up, especially with the players that are involved on the other side. It ain't going to happen. And like a lot of y'all said, I don't give a fuck if they make money on the other side of this as long as we get ours. What this will do, folks, is this is going to allow you to make the higher numbers. I've never been a bracket guy like Lou. I don't disagree with Lou, but I'm never set into a bracket. And the reason that I say I'm never set into a bracket is because you can never account for the fuckery that's going to occur in this play. You can never account for the volatility. You can never account for whales buying in. You can never account for when funds sell off. You can never account for any of it. So it's pointless to even think of, well, I'm looking at this bracket. I'm going to start looking at price action that day, knowing what I can get at certain levels, and reading the volatility of the play, who's covering, what are we hearing, so on and so forth. But with this, if they do this, it is going to allow the numbers to go stupid high. And everyone says, well, who's going to pay for this? Well, I guarantee you that somebody is writing a blank check. Why? Because there's entities on the other side of this that they cannot have fail. Some of y'all are out for blood. You want freaking the hedge funds to go down. You want people to go to prison. Well, I'm going to tell you right now, sometimes that shit just doesn't work out that way. Like in my career field, there's a lot of times where I got dude standing in front of me. I know he's guilty of sin, but he doesn't always get convicted in court by a jury of his peers. And I have to look past that. Why? Otherwise I lose my sanity. So you guys have to get past the fact you want some retribution. Whether it comes or doesn't is indifferent. It's time to get paid. And this is going to go into those upper numbers. They're going to write a blank check. And you guys need to be ready to capitalize on it. When you guys start seeing this action on the days that this is happening, understand that when you see it plateau because somebody dumped the block, this is what's going down. They're wanting people to sell at that little dip. Hold your mud. And I don't mean hold your position. What I mean is you got to be calm, you got to be clear in thought, and you have to understand exactly what it is that you're looking at and how to control your emotions so that you know when to act out of intellect instead of out of emotions. People that will act out of emotions are going to look at the dollar amount that is in their brokerage account at the time. That dollar amount doesn't mean shit until it clears your broker account into your bank account. How many people saw what that number was when we were sitting at $72? That was a fucking decent number. Look at what it's sitting at now. Did you lose money? No. You still have the shares. If you sold shares, you lost money. But if you're still holding the same number of shares now that you were holding at 72, you didn't lose any money. Why? Because it's there to fuck with your head. That fucking number doesn't count until you push the button. I hope everyone gets that. You can't get caught up in fucking what they have, what they don't have. Know that this is a possibility and it could be beneficial to us. But you have to be willing to control what's going on right here and get your head and your ass wired together, block out the rest of the world when it's time to go down and do the dirty. And you have to be a savage. You have to be a savage. Why? Because the difference between being a savage and making those big numbers and having enough to go out and buy a couple of nice cars, pay off some bills, it's right here between your ears. It's controlling that emotion. And we're going to hear stories when we go to Vegas from both sides. People that didn't hold as long as they wanted to, and people that sweated bullets until they finally couldn't take it anymore and it hit their number and they pressed sell. They saw something, they said, okay, so-and-so's covering. Oh, the price action has gone up this many times. We got a little rip going here in pre-market. I'm going to catch this number, this overall number that I'm looking at. That's good. I know what I can do with that. I'm going to sell. You have to be smart, folks. You have to be smart. Don't let their actions dictate how emotional that you get when you're looking at this play and making decisions on your financial future. Their only actions that will have a indication on what you are doing is when you're looking and going, is that my number? What do they have left to cover? Is it time to sell? What's the family saying? What's the sentiment out there? Are people still holding? This is big boy time. Big boy and girl. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you ladies out because there's a lot of ladies in this play too. And I guarantee you that the ladies, they're gonna be the savages. Some of you dudes are, oh, fucking a big man. I'm a savage. Dude, there's gonna be women out there that hold the numbers that will blow your mind. Neither here nor there. The Albanian terrorist, don't email me, Iris. I swear. I love you. Lou wanted me to get on and talk about that insurance scheme. They're caught up. They got to cover and clear out this bullshit that they sold us because that creates a paper trail, an evidence chain. So do we give a fuck where that money's coming from? When we hit our number, I don't give a fuck. Get into my account. Let me do some shit. Let me handle some shit. That money ain't going to be there for long. That money is going to be rotated into other stuff that's going to be worth shit when the value of the dollar falls out. Use your heads, folks. Use your heads. So I hope y'all had a better day than I did. It wasn't bad, but it could have been better. Oh, also, if y'all are going to buy a Trijicon RMR Type 2 for a Glock MOS, make sure you buy the right mounting screws, little torque screws. They don't come with it. It's an extra part. Man, I tried to mount that shit up on a new Glock 17 I got because I just got the Trigi today. But we'll get into that in the prep video. I had to order the new stuff, but Amazon's fucking great. Management sucks, but they get shit out quick. So, without further ado, I hope y'all have a glorious night, and I'm pretty sure the Puerto Rican is going to be pushing some more videos tonight, talking some shit about Wigglicious. I can't do it as well as him. That's a big bitch. For those of y'all that saw my comments on YouTube, hey boo boo, that's a big bitch. That's what that meant. But I appreciate y'all interacting today on Twitter. I put a lot of this information out in little blocks here and there, but Lou wanted me to get out my perspective to you guys in this format so that y'all could catch it in its entirety, and you guys can absorb it in along with what he's saying and thinking, what Bill is thinking and saying. None of us are wrong. There ain't I'm right, he's wrong, and there ain't he's right, I'm wrong. None of us are wrong until we see exactly what they're doing. So it's all stuff for right here, so that when shit starts to happen, you can go, hey, Elk was talking about that, or hey, Lou was talking, hey, that's what fucking they're gonna do. Or Bill, damn, if that's what Bill said, be prepared. Store that information right there, and when it comes time, you'll see exactly what they're doing. You'll be able to formulate your game plan to be able to make some money, because it's about that time, folks. It's about that time. They can't afford this for very much longer, and I foresee we're going to see something here in the next week or so. Third Thursday of the month, they're going to have to start closing out the FTDs this week. Shit is going to get vicious, folks. Gonna get vicious. We should have a fucking nice little ass raping the next few days, and then it's time to make that money. So without further ado, y'all have a glorious evening, and I will catch y'all on the flip side. Mr. Elk Spaghetti signing off.